Welcome to Baz Travels. After driving 14,826 kilometers through 24 states and Washington, D.C., I've seen rocket launches to the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. I've explored Route 66, ghost towns, deserts, snow, and beaches on both coasts. From Vegas casinos to Alcatraz, the White House to Hollywood. Join me for a journey of the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Loading destination. Simulation starting in 3, 2, 1. To look around, move your phone or tablet. Click and drag if on a computer or move your head if using a VR headset. Please like and subscribe.
The Franklin Delano Roosevelt Bridge was once the largest bascule bridge in the world, and that tells you immediately this is not just another river crossing. It was built to solve a real problem at a city scale, where traffic and movement were starting to break down under pressure. Construction started in 1929 and finished in 1937, right in the middle of the Great Depression. And this was not just a local project, it was funded through the Public Works Administration, a federal program designed to create jobs while pushing major infrastructure forward across the country. Projects like this were not just about infrastructure, they were about keeping cities moving and people employed at the time. At its core, the bridge was designed to connect the north and south sections of what is now DuSable Lake Shore Drive, and that connection removed a major bottleneck that previously forced traffic through slower routes. Instead of redirecting vehicles through the city, this created a direct path along the lakefront. The scale of the structure reflects that purpose, because this is a double-deck bascule bridge built to carry large volumes of traffic efficiently. At the time it opened, it was the longest, widest, and heaviest of its kind, which shows how seriously the problem was taken. That decision was backed by economic calculations that are surprisingly detailed. Planners estimated around 40,000 vehicles per day would use the crossing, and each trip would save roughly 8 minutes compared to older routes. Those savings were not treated as small improvements. When they were calculated across all vehicles, the result was over $500,000 saved each year in time and fuel, which in 1930 terms justified spending millions to build a bridge in the first place. That kind of thinking turns the bridge into more than a structure. It becomes a tool designed to improve efficiency across an entire city system. The engineering behind the movement is just as deliberate. This is a Tronian bascule bridge, which means each side rotates upwards on a fixed pivot, while large counterweights balance the load. Because of that balance, the system does not need to lift the full weight of the structure. Instead, it manages the difference between the roadway and the counterweight, which keeps the operation efficient and repeatable. The bridge can open or close in under a minute, even under wind conditions, which shows how tightly controlled the system is. Movement is not slow or uncertain, it is timed, measured, and predictable. There is also a locking system that keeps everything secure when the bridge is closed. The center lock connects both sides of the bridge, while rear locks prevent movement when vehicles are passing over it. These components are critical because the bridge has to behave like a solid structure when closed, even though it is designed to move. That dual requirement is what makes the engineering so precise. The bridge was planned by the Chicago Plan Commission, with Hugh E. Young involved as consulting engineer, and designed by the Strauss Engineering Company. Construction was handled by the American Bridge Company, which reflects the scale and coordination required to deliver a project like this. Over time, the role of the bridge has shifted. It was originally built to support heavy traffic and industrial movement, but today it operates with a different system, where recreational boats and seasonal traffic are more common. The structure itself has not changed, but the type of traffic it supports has evolved, which shows how adaptable this design has become over time. What makes this bridge stand out is not just its size or its mechanics, it is the way it combines engineering, economics, and city planning into a single solution that still works decades later.
Simulation terminated. Please comment, like and subscribe.